productivity, winning strategies, and aligning employer-employee goals. If this sounds like something your business could use more of, then you've come to the right place. The Business Mechanic Show with your host, Vaughn Sigmund. Let Vaughn show you how to develop, improve, and jumpstart your business. So now, please welcome the host of The Business Mechanic, Vaughn Sigmund.
Welcome to the Business Mechanic Show. I'm your host, Vaughn Sigmund, co-founder of Results Driven Leadership. We provide managers with the knowledge, skills, and tools to become high-impact leaders. All of our courses and programs are created from front-line, real-world experience. No theory. And all are delivered by real executives who have successfully led teams and grown companies using the very same exact best practices and tools provided in our programs. We don't utilize trained trainers like our competitors do. Nope. We've been there. We've done that. We know what works. We know what does not. And it's all been captured in our training programs. And the greatest news is you can now subscribe to our self-paced online training programs for only $47 per month. No contract, unlimited use. Why would you want to miss out on that? Now, a little word of warning here. We are only offering this for a limited time, so take advantage of it. It may end at any time. If you take too long, don't think about it too long. Try it out. Don't miss out on it. And I provided a link in the show notes to go check it out. Now, on with the show. Let's get going. Today's topic dovetails with last week's podcast on how to conduct a SWOT exercise for your annual company or team planning goal session, or the 3 simple steps for annual goal setting. And through that, we talked about SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you're going to take all that information and you're going to move to this next step, which is determining your critical success factors. So using that discussion and getting agreements from your SWOT exercise, we're going to use this step to leverage and create the goals to improve your company or your team's performance. And let's face it, every organization, every division, department faces factors that are critical to its success. And we now call those your critical success factors, or CSFs. And you're likely to identify during this discussion, this next step, many different CSFs. But those you put in your CSF statements, which those are the ones you're going to decide on and commit to. Make sure as you're going through them, you may have dozens, but you're going to have to limit it to a certain number. And that certain number needs to be the ones that are going to create the highest potential of impact, positive impact on your organization. So during these team discussions, I'm going to give you the tools right now in just a minute, how to start creating this discussion to come up with your CSFs, but you got to limit it, the number of CSFs, to no more than 5. Got to stop at 5. It's well studied that no company, no team can be successful with more than 5. 5's the limit. That's the ceiling. On the other end of that, you can have as little as 1. Generally, companies have 3, but no more than 5. 1's okay. It's not great. 1's okay. But you got to pick the number that you know you can get your arms around and commit the energy and the resources and the management to drive them to success. Put those in the CSF statements I'm going to be talking about in just a couple minutes. And these are going to help you make decisions. These CSF statements are going to help you make decisions about where you want your organization to go. And you'll also understand at this point how off track it may be at any given time. And the more clearly you define these CSFs to easily digestible bullet points, the more easy it is for them to be measured and managed. And they'll help you focus your attention on what is absolutely essential in the world of your business today, this year, right now. And these CSF statements, they're going to help you know exactly, layer it in with your SWOT, what you're currently achieving and how to improve it. And they're also used to figure out what goals, which we're going to talk about next week's podcast. We're going to take these CSFs, which are your critical success factors, or identify where we want to go. The goal setting is how we're going to get there. What are the actions and strategies we're going to use to get there? But these CSFs need to be easily understood, very impactful bullet points that any and every employee in the organization can understand, agree to, and accomplish. So let me give you some examples of what these short statements might sound like. We will significantly reduce our manufacturing costs to lower the price of our products. Or we'll provide our customers with high quality products and services that meet their needs. Or one that may be a little more global. To become the preferred provider of products and services within our industry. Or we'll increase sales by 10% by using new marketing strategies that focus on more effective advertising and promotions. So those are some examples of some CSF statements. Write them down. You know, it could be as simple as increase sales by 25%, reduce customer complaints by 50%, increase web traffic by 20%. They just need to be simple and understandable. And then in our next step, next week's podcast, we're going to talk about setting goals. Those are going to be SMART goals. But this is the next step. We've got to understand and dilute everything we took out of SWOT and understand where we're going to go with these critical success factors. What's going to improve your organization or your team? And they have to be realistically achievable. Be honest with yourselves and determine if the team can or cannot achieve this, or do you have the resources to be able to achieve it? Or are you willing to make the investment in it? You know, just to give you just a quick example, you may identify a CSF to say, develop a new product that can generate significant sales. Well, that may be unachievable because it requires human or financial capabilities that right now your organization does not have the capacity for. So be honest with yourself. These are not technically aspirational, they're realistic. So how do we get to these CSFs? How do we get to those statements I just suggested to you? Well, here's some thought starters for you. Here's some thought starters. Here's some questions to start asking your team. And what should this team of people, it should be the same people who are working in SWOT with you, but it could be certainly your management team, your executive team. It could be your accountant. It could be your attorney. It could be your coach. Make sure you've got a big brain trust in there. People with experiences that are diverse, knowledge that is diverse. People are going to come at it from different viewpoints. Be prepared to engage in a little dialogue and maybe even some conflict in there. That's okay. That's okay. It's got to be respectful. We're not going to get out of hand with this. But then we're going to boil it down to here's what we're going to go do. Here's the start of uncovering your CSFs. Here's some questions to get the team started. And oh, by the way, make sure everybody contributes to what I call the pool of knowledge. Nobody's going to sit there like a bump on a log and not participate. It's your job as a facilitator to make sure you're getting all you can out of everybody. And very often, you've heard me in the other podcasts say this, very often that person that is the quietest, the most reserved, is the person that's got the best damn ideas. So make sure you're getting everything into the pool of knowledge. Don't let anybody sit passively there. So shut up. Here's how you need to get the thoughts and the ideas going. Here's some discussion starters. And I'm sorry, I keep leading you up to this and stopping. If this is a lot, and most of you are listening to this while you're driving or walking. You're not going to be able to write all this down. I'm giving you a lot of details here. Reach out to me at my website, rdltraining.com. Click on the contact us button. Let me know. You want the instruction manual for the 3 simple steps for annual goal setting. And I'll send you, it's like 58 pages. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of meat in here. So reach out to me. Let me know you want it, and I'll send it over to you. Be happy to. And there's no charge for that. It's free, and it's not going to be a big sales gimmick. I don't do that. I'm just here to help. So reach out to them. I'd be happy to provide you with the entire instruction manual. This is good stuff, y'all. And this has all been devised through decades of doing this. So now I'm actually going to get to what I keep leading you up to. Here are some thought starters. Here are some questions you can ask your team to get the flow going. What new product, service, that sort of thing, or process should our organization develop? What can we do to make our product more affordable? To what extent must our organization excel in order to have the greatest impact on our clients? How can we expand into new markets? How can we reduce the cost of each unit without sacrificing quality? What changes are needed in our product mix, pricing structure, our sales team, sales approach, sales process, marketing process? What changes in our production processes, materials used, supply chain, quality standards do we need to make? That's the sort of questions you want to get people thinking about and contributing to the pool of knowledge. And then you want to, once you get all this into the pool, somebody's going to be writing this on a flip chart. You may have dozens and dozens up there, right? You got a lot of great ideas. I hope you do. Then you're going to boil it down to 5, the 5 most critical success factors. It's time to do that now. We got to distill it down to only 5. Sometimes you can combine them. This is the fun part, right? Is this open discussion of how you're going to figure it out and prioritize it down to just 5. And of those 5, once you get those decided based on some of the questions and statements I mentioned to you, you're going to pick one, which is your one, which is your deciding critical success factor. We're defining critical success factor. Which one's most important? Which one is most important? Prioritize one that's the most critical. It's the one factor around which you will build the first and most crucial goal when we get there. We're going to start with that one. And again, you're collaborating, you're trying to gain, or you want to gain consensus with all your team members. And hopefully you've got a diverse crowd in there. And you're going to have to negotiate and gain consensus on this DCSF, as well as the rest of your CSFs. But the debate is essential. And let me just add too, if there's no agreement amongst your team, if you get down to loggerheads on this, you, the boss, are going to have to make the decision. You may disappoint somebody, but in the end, we can only have one DCSF. And as I facilitate these kind of meetings with all my clients, I have always done DISC profiles on everybody that's in that room. So I know their behavior product patterns. I know how they communicate, how they think, how they interact. So I've got some knowledge that I've honed over decades of being able to tap into different personality types. And while we're on that topic of DISC, if you haven't gotten a DISC survey or DISC assessment done on you, it's time you got one. It's high time you did. And just in case you don't know what a DISC assessment is, it can be really useful for improving communication, team dynamics between you and the management team and you. And what I'm doing for all of my fine Business Mechanic Show listeners is I'm offering you, for you, a free DISC assessment. One free DISC assessment for you. I put a link down in the show notes, and it's going to give you direct access to complete that assessment. Once you get that done, it only takes 15 minutes. It's not a huge time commitment. You can knock it out in 15 minutes. Many times it's less. If it's any more than that, you're overthinking it. Then you and I will schedule a one-on-one private discussion and go through this report. And I'll help you understand what it says and what it doesn't say, what it's telling you. It's about 92% accurate. Maybe sometimes a little bit more. People are always impressed at how accurate this thing is. So I'll tell you what it's saying, what it's not saying. Most importantly, how to use it for your personal improvement, personal development, and your team's improvement. Again, it's 15 minutes, and it costs you absolutely nothing. There's no hooks. There's no cost. Go do it. Click on the link down in the show notes and get it done for yourself. You'll love it. Everybody that does it is impressed with it. I want you to be impressed too. So take advantage of my generosity on this. So you're working on your CSFs. You're writing them down. Getting them down to 5. And understand, let me put a little caveat in here. Back in our SWOT exercise, threats, right? Those are things that may or may not happen that you don't have a lot of control over, but they may show up at your door. The wolf may show up at your door. And so that situation, things change, a new competitor comes along, something changes in the economy, whatever. It may require you to change your CSFs. So don't feel like you're stuck with only the 3 or 4 or 5 that you've chosen for the year. You may have to drop one. You may have to add one. And so it's okay midstream, mid-year, because some impactful event has occurred. It's fine for you to rethink and redefine your organization's priorities between the meetings and then start again. But always make sure that when you do that, you also, again, based on the next week's podcast, you rewrite goals around it. So that's it. That's how hard CSFs are. It's the fun, to me, it's the funnest part of the meeting because it's the brainstorming session. I hope this podcast, be it as brief, proves helpful for your planning meeting. And while I'm on planning meetings, I mentioned several times in here, like I have 3 this week. I think I got 2 more next week. I'll be tired by Friday. I facilitate these throughout the course of the year. It's something I've done for decades. And if any of you fine listeners of the Business Mechanic Show believe that you can use my services to help facilitate your annual or quarterly planning meeting, reach out to me. I'd love to have the opportunity. Contact me through the RDL training website. That's Romeo Delta Lima Training.com. And just let me know in the Contact Us button if you'd like to talk to me about me helping you facilitate your planning sessions. I love doing it. People keep hiring me to do it, so I must be pretty good at it. And I put a link in the show notes. You can contact me and we'll talk about it. So thanks for listening today, everybody. I really appreciate you being here, and I really respect you all for putting the work into your own personal improvement. You're here for a reason, and you should be really proud of yourselves.